Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Mandatory Live. Thank you so much for rocking with us. If you like the content, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO, and you can also find us on the audio side as well. So, if you got a couple of minutes, leave a rate and review, give us a 5-star. And yeah, so wherever you find your shows, podcasts, you can listen to us as well and take us on the road with you if you're in your car, if you're walking, if you're at the gym, wherever. And also, if you already done all of that, thank you so much for supporting the show. Also, quickly, Brian, before we get into everything, we've gotten like an influx of subscribers recently. And we just want to say thank you for everyone that has subscribed, that has, liked a video, left a comment, because that helps the show grow. And we definitely do appreciate you guys. But Teofimo Lopez and Turki got into it. Teofimo Lopez ended up tweeting out that he got fired by boxing. Now, I know that you're probably wondering what exactly happened. So this is kind of the backstory. There were talks that Teofimo Lopez and Jerome Boots Ennis were going to fight, and they were trying to be in negotiations. This is a fight that I believe Turk was trying to make happen alongside Eddie Hearn. Now, I'm not quite sure what happened, but the fight fell through, and it was announced, not really announced, but reported that Jerome Boots Ennis wanted to move up to 154 pounds because the fight with Teofimo Lopez was going to be at 147 pounds. So Boots is thinking about moving up, and I mean, why not? Even though him and Teofimo Lopez would be an extremely big fight, Teofimo Lopez ends up calling Turk a dictator. Did you see that tweet?
I did. Well, it's mentioned in this story I have pulled up from a dude that actually follows me, and I follow him also, Johan Blanco. This is at Sports Illustrated. It just had a sort of summary of everything that went on. Marlon, I see your comment. We will get to Jaime Munguia's later in the show, but
Yeah, we are going to get into that, Marlon. But
that's on the docket.
really quickly. So there happened to be some beef. He called Turk a dictator, DICK, tater, and
The tweet
and
is
then
here. The tweet is here.
okay, and then
Here it
Teofimo
is.
Lopez said that he was fired from boxing, but now there's a conversation being had that Teo and Devin Haney might be fighting instead of him and Jerome Boots Ennis. So let's get all into this, Brian. You've got the article up there right now.
And a couple videos.
Yeah, and we're gonna break this whole thing down because it's deeper than just Teo having an issue.
It's
This is
also
massive.
unfolding live,
Yes.
like because now there's apparently some measure of reconciliation that has since happened. But again, this moves very quickly, and with Teofimo Lopez, you just never know. You absolutely never know where this is going to go. So he calls Turk a dictator, and then Turk says in via translation, maturity is to realize most things don't deserve a reaction. This was shortly after, and there wasn't just a lot more to it than that. And then over here, we're going to share this tab instead. This is from let's go to Dan first. Dan Raphael exposes Teofimo Lopez tweets to Turkey was a result of finding out the money for Boots Ennis fight was not the same as Devin Haney fight, and allegedly some depending on who you believe, but it came out that Boots rejected the fight or whatever. The reporting was very spotty, so we can't go that deep with it. But with Dan, he's obviously hearing this from a good source. So let's hear what he had to say regarding this Teofimo Lopez situation.
And it got to a point where, again, I've not heard this from the Boots side, from Matchroom or whatever, but I'm told that in the end, Ennis decided that was a no-go, and that was the fight that Teofimo really wanted. And they had agreed, I guess, at least on, I don't know if the exact dollar figure, but they knew sort of the range of what they were going to make for that fight. And when the Ennis fight was not there, the money for the alternative, which was Haney, which is still a reasonable bout, was maybe not quite the exact same as what would have been there for the Boots Ennis fight. And
to your point,
it feels like Teofimo kind of agreed to the Haney fight, but got kind of irritated that the money wasn't quite the same. And that sent him off the cliff into writing all the crazy tweets. And I saw the videos he did that Turkey fired him or I got fired from boxing. I mean, he's kind of maybe lost his mind a little bit. So the bottom line is, whereas the Haney camp, from what I am told, was good to go, agreed to, all set, let's do it. Then it became a little bit of a problem because I would imagine that Turkey was not too pleased by the things that Teofimo not only posted, but clearly, I guess, understood at some point it was not proper for him to do that and ended up deleting one of the tweets. And so I guess they're going to try to salvage.
That's from Boxing Social. Also worth noting that the person who was streaming that video, 1% battery. That just annoyed the shit out of me while I was watching it. Also, we have Teofimo Lopez from this morning, apparently. We don't apologize. We just show love. I love you, Turkey. I want to love you so good, Turkey. All Diddy. Wink, winks at the camera. Let's listen.
We don't apologize. We just show love.
All right. Like
God,
he is a fucking mess. Oh my goodness.
Well, I mean, let's kind of break it down because the issue is here. He was promised the Duran boots and his fight from Turk. And Turk was like, we're going to give you a blank amount of money. Ennis decides that he's going to move up at 154 pounds. Let's just say that he does because it hasn't been confirmed, right? This is all reported. This is all rumors. So Ennis didn't take the fight. There's a conversation there to be had as well that we'll get to after. Then he gets offered the Devin Haney fight, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like Devin Haney fight's then on the table, but the money is not the same. So here's the thing, Brian. If I'm doing business with you and you promise me something and you promise me a certain amount of bread and then that falls through and then you're like, don't worry, I got something else for you. I'm thinking probably like, okay, I'm going to get like the same amount of bread here because let's be serious. Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez is still a massive fight. And then the money goes down. And here's the thing that no one's really talking about. I'm not mad at how Teofimo Lopez acted about that. Because let's be serious here.
Other than the video we probably just saw.
I mean, like, yes, because at the same time, I think he's trolling a little bit, though, too.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope it's that rather than what Marlon says in the comments, which I'll post right now, where he says Teofimo or Teo's definitely mentally ill. He needs help. No funny shit. I try not to jump to that.
Yeah.
But it's like we don't know, and you don't want to be too late to these things. You know what I mean? He acts in a very questionable manner a lot, where it's like it feels deliberate, it feels trolling, it feels calculated in a way that's not how I would go about my business. But
here's the thing:
it feels like it's intentional, but we don't know. Yeah. He may also not be because listen, with boxing, you just never know because ultimately this is a sport of crazy people. Not crazy in like a demeaning way, but like these people are nuts.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing though too is that like he's still young, right? So it's just like he acts out. He's had this popularity for an extremely long time. And so when you have that popularity and you have that money, when you're that young, you're going to act in a certain way and we're going to see it play out. And sometimes it's not the healthiest, but I'm not a doctor to say that he's got this and that. All I know is that he was promised a certain amount of money and then that was taken away from him. And I think that's kind of the issue. That is the issue because there is somebody in boxing right now that is giving us these fights, whether they're entertaining or not, because as we saw not too long ago, some of those fights weren't very entertaining, but we were getting them. But he's controlling every aspect of the sport in that way.
Except women's boxing.
Yes, except women, because I mean, obviously, he might not even want to control that. Right? For obvious reasons here. Let's be serious.
Afro we're not defending him, by the way.
Yeah. I'm just saying that
there's a lot of unknown here, to be honest.
I know I'm not defending Teo, but I'm just saying that like if I was promised a certain amount of money and you promised me this fight and you promised me this money and then you said, listen, there's another fight on the table, but I'm not going to give you the same amount of money, I'm going to feel some type of way because I'm still putting my life on the line when I get into the ring. Right? I'm not saying how Teo acted was mature. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not defending him. My issue here is we're seeing this play out, and this is not going to be the first time that someone comes at Turk. It's not going to be the last time.
Hasn't been the first time either.
Yeah. So for me, I just feel like more things are going to come out about Turk and how he does business. And as boxing fans, we're loving it right now because we're getting fights. I don't know how long this is sustainable. And at some point, people are going to get pissed off. And when someone has too much control over something, what usually happens? It goes
Yeah,
south. It goes
it,
south.
it's happened. Look, the UFC product has diminished a little bit, and UFC has a monopoly. The WWE product, which I thought has been really, it has been stronger the last few years, but that's starting to take a little bit of an interesting turn because of the amount of sponsorships and how much of a monopoly they have over their sport. Same thing with MMA and UFC. And then here, they're not going to have a total monopoly on the entire sport just because it looks like the monopoly on women's boxing is going to go through MVP and Salida because they're the only ones signing women right now, and are going to promote them. We had Franchon Cruz-Dezurn on the show. Obviously, they have Clarissa Shields, and they've just signed some others. MVP has a card and a half at Madison Square Garden, just women, coming up in about 6 weeks or so, roughly. As it pertains to this, I think it's funny you mentioned the money aspect of the Devin Haney fight. I think that there are casual boxing fans who would say Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney is a bigger fight than Teofimo Lopez and Boots Ennis because they're not that familiar with Boots Ennis, which is a crime because we would all say, yeah, Boots is pound for pound like as talented as those guys. He hasn't proven it yet against the same level of competition, but
Bruh.
the projection
Ennis,
is that
yeah,
he's going to be like one of the greats at least, and he's the best in his weight class right now.
he
Like
should
not even
be
close.
he should be a face in boxing. He should be a bigger name. And we all watch boxing, and the people that watch this show are some of the most intelligent people. You guys are always leaving some of the best comments. You guys know how good Boots is. But you know what's also entertaining? Teofimo Sr. and Bill Haney going at it. Like this would just be pure entertainment from the fathers, you guys. Okay, this would not just be Teofimo and Devin Haney. Bill would be up in there speaking for Devin because Devin's a nice kid, you know.
Yeah,
This would be, I think it's a bigger fight, and they also have more of a history. Like Teo and Devin came up together, like they've known each other since they were kids. There's been talk, and listen, Brian, you were at one of those press conferences, I think with Teofimo Senior, when he was talking about, yeah, we would want the Devin Haney fight. You were at that
this
press. I
was
forget
when
which one it was, but
this is before Teofimo Lopez fought Josh Taylor here in New York City. This was already 2 years ago. And I have the video of Bill Haney. I probably posted it. Bill Haney, Teofimo Sr. basically agreeing to the fight, which again, agreed upon fights. Tell you guys this all the time. Fights that are agreed upon are bullshit because like until you have a date, a venue, it's signed, it's all bullshit in this sport. The most interesting things to me in this in particular is just Teofimo Lopez is crashing out again, speaking out again, and putting himself in hot water again, and just this is part of the Teofimo experience. And then going against Turk, who has all the money, but as time goes, as we've been saying for a while at this point, you're going to start to see more cracks in that shield, and more guys are gonna start speaking out about it. You're already seeing it from a media standpoint too, with Paulie Malignaggi and Tim Bradley, but that's going to extend beyond that if people have the courage to actually do so. Let's put up some comments. Okay, XL. Not to take us off topic, we won't get into this deeply, but he says, I'm just running in. Shantelle, Bryan, Pacers take it today if Brunson continues to ball hog. New York Post sports YouTube account, watch along. I'll be live. We'll be doing the watch along for game 5. We'll see what happens. That'll be tonight, and that is why we're doing this now. Shantelle, you were saying something, but you were on mute.
well, it's good because you were talking. So it's good that I was muted there and I made a mistake. I am wearing my lucky Spreewell shirt. So hopefully we win today. I'm very superstitious, you guys. Last time I wore this, they won. Okay. So hopefully they get it done. If they don't, I might have to take a little bit of a break from the show. No, XL said, so was Teo offered more money for Haney or Boots? He was offered more money for Jerome Boots Ennis.
According to what's out there. Afro Soul says different opponents call for different persons. Why are we even debating this? Question mark. I'm a little confused at the question, but I get it to some extent. I don't know what you mean, Afro Soul. I don't know like what are you getting at there? Clarify it in the comments, please. And you say unfortunately Teo doesn't seem to fancy a Devin matchup. I mean, look, I'm not fiending for Teofimo Lopez versus Devin Haney. I'm just saying, and we're just saying, like, this has been discussed for years at this point. And I don't give a shit either way. Like, I just want to see if they're gonna fight each other, I would like to see them actually try to fight each other. And not just like do the shit that they did in Times Square. XL
If
says
they did that, I think I would like want to jump off a hill or something. Like I would be so disappointed. And here's the thing, they're both kind of chinny now, guys. Right? Like Taylor's been dropped before. We saw what happened to Devin Haney, but I would hope that they would make it an entertaining fight. I would hope Devin Haney would fight like how he did against Loma.
The funny thing is we've talked about Teofimo Lopez being or struggling with guys who move. And Devin Haney post Ryan Garcia, you saw him against Jose Ramirez. Like that dude was moving around the ring.
Yeah,
So
but Devin is really talented, though.
I think that fight could actually be really boring.
That's my worry, and maybe that's why Teo doesn't want it. But I mean, he gave us him and Steve Claggett. So could it be any worse? He gave us him and Jermaine Ortiz, and that wasn't
Jermaine Ortiz. Struggled against Sandro Martin. I keep saying like his resume at 140 is not awesome. And
Sandro Martin's a tough fighter, though. Like he's such a tricky fighter. So
he almost won the fight. Presumably, this fight would also be at welterweight because it looks like Devin Haney. He's wanted to be at welterweight for some time. He's tweeted out. XL, let's get to his comment. Tails speaks so much on the business side of boxing, so he should know different opponents bring different value and pay. If that's the reason he's acting like a brat.
But he is a brat, XL. Like he's like the biggest brat in boxing. Is he not?
I think all. I don't think this is a you got to take side situation. I think Teo's acted like a doof and Turk. There's some questions there. I think both guys could be wrong. AfroSo says, to clarify, I'm saying, why are we defending Teo being an idiot, acting fake, shocked that the money went down after a change in opponent? Would he expect to be paid the same if he was to fight Hitchens instead?
I'm such a nerd. I would think that Hitchens Teo fight would be good. I'm such a geek. However, here's the thing. I still think Devin Haney has cachet. That's like some stuff going out outside. That's what happens when you live in the city. But
I mean, to be Haney's a name still, but Afro. So that's not the biggest. That's not the I don't care about. I almost don't care about that part of it. Like I don't think we're defending Teofimo Lopez for acting out. We're just saying yo, if Turk is going to handle his business a certain way, then that's going to come off as shady to a lot of the boxers he's claiming to do business with. While an alleged promotion is being formed where the purses were put out and it didn't look great. Like there's just a lot of layers to this where I don't think it's one thing or another thing or another thing. And by the way, the alleged promotion with Dana White seems to be on hold because they're not even there's reports about them not even working together now because the Crawford Canelo fight's supposed to be promoted differently than it was intended. That was supposed to be a TKO boxing event, and it looks like it's just going to be Sella. So,
also Afro Soul, just really quickly, I'm not defending Teo. I just was saying about the money part, and that's more about Turk. I'll just say it. My issue is with Turk. That's my whole thing. I'm just gonna say right here on the show because I don't actually think any of this is sustainable. And I know that the argument is going to be, well, he's giving us the fights. Okay, how long is he going to be giving us those fights? How long is he going to be spending this bread? There's so much more that's underneath all of this that some of it's political, some of it is other stuff that we're not really getting into because there's a lot of depth to this conversation.
We have videos on this already.
Yeah, but my whole thing is not we know Teo's acting crazy a little bit, right? He's crashing out. We've seen Teofimo Lopez do this before. Some of it's entertaining. Some of it, it's he's being a total brat. He might need help. There's different layers to it. But my issue alone is we're seeing him beef it out with Turkey. And I feel like this is not going to be the last time we see a boxer beef it out with Turkey. I think we're going to see this more often now.
Use a different term, please.
What? Beef it out with Turkey?
All right, Marlon. I want Devin Teo to fight They have history. Plus, he's on Devin's hit list. It's possible Devin's hit list. If it's possible, Devin's hit list is legit and should be respected.
Okay.
I don't believe anyone's hit list, but I mean, Teo is on. I think they would fight each other, but I mean, yeah, to me, this is two parties not looking great. Teofimo Lopez has crashed out before. He's doing it again, and Turkey's had some shady business things before, and he's probably gonna.
You
go
know
that
what's the
route again.
worst when a Turk is putting on a fight? Afro Soul says, by the way, a good friend of the show and has left some really good comments. Oh, I forgot. Chantel's not fond of Turkey. You know what I think it is? I think it's like just the little things that piss me off. Number one, the politics in Saudi, I'm not a fan of. I've been very outspoken about that.
You're not alone.
Number two, like when fighters are down, he'll be like, "You're down on the court. Like, just shut up. Like, stay out of it." Right? Or when
With Hamza Shiraz,
yeah, like I just don't like that stuff. Like you never see like, you just never see promoters do stuff like that. And it's just like, I understand everyone's like kissing the ring. People are calling him,
that's
His
what it is. That's what
Excellency
it
and
is
all
for
this
me.
stuff. And it's just
Yeah.
like, like I get it. We're getting the fights, but there's so much more to it. And if I go missing, it's because of what I just said. Now, Brian, take it away.
Yeah, he's just a weirdo.